Dr. Simcha Pollard. Patricia's just nervous. Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Okay? Good. Good. Well, let me tell you why I'm up here today. I don't know if your thought process works like this. Patricia comes by your office and you share a personal story with her and she shares some things with you. The next thing you know, you find yourself, for some odd reason, more odd than reason, writing to Andy saying, hey, I think I want to do a moment of motivation. It's really that simple, you know? I only share that with you because some people be wondering, how do you get to come up here? Do they pick you? Do they call you? How do they find you? You know, it's just, you get a thought, you get an idea, the next thing you know, here you are up here. Okay, so the title of today's Mom is Stuff, and since I'm the one up here talking, it's about my stuff. That's simple, okay? And I just want to talk about stuff because stuff is like really, really important in my life, and you may discover that stuff is important in your life for a variety of reasons as well. And I want to share with you just a couple of experiences. The very first one happened when I was 18, back in 1974. So nobody has to figure out how old is he, when was he 18, you know. That's not a big deal to me. Age, some people worry about it, I don't. But my first experience with stuff was when my father told me when I graduated from high school, you know, you're going to be going to college, make sure you take all your stuff with you. And I didn't know exactly what that meant, but I think I was successful because he never called me and said, hey, some of your stuff is still here. So I guess I took all my stuff with me, whatever that meant. And I went off to college, and I went to grad school, as many of you know. And if you walk by where we have all the posters up from the faculty expo we had probably about 2 years ago now maybe, that you'll see that not only have I worked, but I've lived in a variety of different countries around the world. And in 1992, I worked in several African countries, and between 1978, when I started graduate school, till 1992, I began a process. I didn't realize that's what I was doing, getting rid of all my stuff. And in 1992, everything that was important to me fit in a small carry-on bag. I would go to countries for sometimes months at a time, and I'd arrive with a little bag. And if you have ever worked in any country in Africa, when you show up with just your little bag and immediately get off the plane and head right to immigration and to go out the door, they stop you and call people over because they want to know where your big bag is. And I go, I don't have a big bag, it's just this. Everything fits right in here. And after I explained that to them, they let me go, but that happened many times. And by the time 1992 rolled around, I had reached a point where mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, any other LY word you want to add to it, I was not doing well, and still all my quote-unquote stuff was in a very small bag. And between 1992, when I began to make some changes in my life, until around the year 2005, I found that I was getting a lot of stuff back in my life. And I had some more kids come into my life. I had some houses come into my life. I had more money come into my life. I had different jobs come into my life. And they all brought various pieces of stuff with them. And I remember when I interviewed for one of those jobs, the person that interviewed me, and he happened to be the dean of a college of a very large state university, the job interview went something like this as he explained the job. 1/3 of the time, here's what you're going to do. And he detailed step-by-step things from a job description. And I go, what about the other 2/3 of the time? And he says, there's a lot of stuff that has to be done, and 2/3 of the time you deal with stuff. Now, I know you people sitting in the room today, most of you, when you think about your job description, you're going, that's not even close. 100% of our time is dealing with stuff. And we don't know what that stuff is, but it's stuff, you know, that's what we call it. It's a very strange word, you know. It means that we're going to have you do things that are not on your job description, but need to be done, and you're the person that needs to get them done. And most people sitting here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that goes from the president on down. Because don't think that the board doesn't give him stuff to do. We know this because many of us get emails from him saying, here's some things that you need to take care of. You know, but I want to just share just briefly one thing that happened in 2006. By 2006, I again found myself in a situation where financially I was not doing too well by my own calculations. And eventually by the middle of 2006, I was down, and I don't want to forget it, it was towards June of 2006, everything was going out of my life. You know, the marriage was gone, kids were going, money was gone, and on June 30th, the very last day of June of 2006, my best thinking was to go get my car washed. So I went to go get my car washed, and I had just enough money to pay for the car wash, and then I realized when the car comes out, you got to give the guy a tip that finishes cleaning it up. I looked at my wallet, I took my last $5, and I gave it to the guy, and I said, now I'm done. I got absolutely nothing, and I had no clue what was going to happen, but all the stuff finally in my life, it was all gone. You know, I cleaned out everything that there was to clean out. There was nothing left. All my furniture was gone. All my files were gone. All my papers were gone. All the documents were gone. I had absolutely nothing. I go, God, I have no idea what's going to happen, but tomorrow's July 1st. Let's see what happens. And it's from July 1st, 2006 until today, things turned around tremendously. You know, it would take me way too long to tell you the process that went on, but I will tell you this. Today, I have no stuff in my life. Everything that's of value to me, it still fits in a very small bag. I can get out of my house in 20 minutes with everything that I think that I need, and maybe even less, you know. But that's just the way that I chose to live my life, you know. As I've moved from place to place, various family members have come over and they've looked at my place and they go, so when's the furniture coming? And I go, this is it. They go, where do we sit? You know, and I have these little chairs that I used to sit and watch the kids' soccer games, and I unfold them and go, have a seat. Real simple. You know, if you come by my office and people do go, you've been here for a while, they go, when are you going to put something up? And I go, put what up? You know, the thing is that I have no desire to put anything up, because the minute I start putting stuff up and I start getting stuff in my life, for me, that stuff becomes so important that I discover I can't live without the stuff. And I don't want to live today with stuff. You know, I live very simply, cleanly, happy, without having all that stuff. You know, if you followed me around for a 24-hour period and saw how I lived, your head would just simply spin right off of your body, you know. And I don't suggest that you do that, because, you know, how I do things is probably not the way most people would. As I tell my kids all the time, even though they say, Dad, you did a great job with us, you know, we ourselves have learned how to live with a lot of stuff in our lives. And I said, well, I'm not the world's greatest role model for kids, but thank you, you know, thank you anyway, you know, because a lot of them know what I went through because I raised them, and they saw what went on, you know. But today, it's really good, you know. But I'll leave you with this, because it's something that means a lot to me, and it shows you how I live. My oldest son, who's now 34, I called him a couple of months ago just to say hi. And so we were talking. He goes, Dad, you okay? And I said, yep, I'm just okay. And he goes, what's going on? I said, I'm just calling all the kids because I miss everybody. And I want to talk to the grandkids. He goes, you miss us? I said, I miss you. He goes, you want us all to move back? And I go, I don't miss you that much. Because I remember all the stuff that we had to go through. And I don't want to go through that kind of stuff, you know, today. But, you know, as I sit and I reflect, as I do this time of year, as I do every time around this year, because it's for quote-unquote people like myself, this is a very important time of year when we have a chance to thoroughly review, and we've been doing this as a process started a couple days ago. Every day we take a month and we review what we did last year during that month to see what we did right, what we did wrong, what we need to correct, what we need to fix, what we need to take a look at. And by not having that quote-unquote stuff in my life, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, that kind of nonsense hanging around in my life today, you know, it makes that kind of inventory very easy to do. And it reminds me how I have to live, you know, as I go forward. So if there's a message in there, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but hopefully you got something out of that to get motivated to sometime today take a look at your stuff. See what stuff you want, what you don't need, what it's time to get rid of, and most importantly, don't let that stuff back in. My name is Dr. Simcha Pollard. I'm the Dean of College of Business Administration and College of Information Systems here at Trident Information Systems, and that was my moment of motivation.
Look at that stuff. Thank you, everybody.